Pyongyang has grown closer to Moscow in the last few years. Russian President Vladimir Putin and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un have even signed a strategic agreement where they have pledged to defend each other, and North Korea is already doing its part. Pyongyang has already deployed over 3,000 troops in Ukraine. However, Kim Jong-un's troops have been facing setbacks. While many have been killed on the battlefield, several have also been captured. Most recently, Ukrainian troops destroyed a North Korean self-propelled howitzer, the M-1978 Koksan howitzer. Now, this happened in eastern Ukraine, where North Korean troops have been fighting alongside Russian forces. The strike on the North Korean artillery unit was carried out by a Ukrainian drone team. The Koksan howitzer is a self-propelled artillery system made by North Korea. It was inducted in the year 1978 and can hit targets at a range of 40 to 50 kilometers. The howitzer has a 170mm caliber turret and can fire between 1 to 2 rounds every 5 minutes. The Koksan is also operated by North Korea's allies, Russia and Iran. Ukrainian forces first reported sighting the North Korean artillery system in the battlefield in October last year. But this is the first time that they were able to seek and destroy Kim Jong-un's artillery unit. As North Korean and Russian troops carry out joint attacks, Ukrainian troops are bolstering their defenses in the east.
Judging from the latest talks, I cannot tell you that there is a hope for it to be solved politically. I can't tell you so. In my opinion, if it is solved, then fine, but we anyway must be preparing, because the enemy is mean wily. We must build fortifications. We must prepare that the enemy might continue. We cannot be certain that one day, for example, tomorrow morning, it will be over. Defensive structures have always been a part of good defense from the enemy. In order to stop the enemy, we need fortifications we are building. You must understand that if there are no fortifications, people cannot keep their positions. They retreat and have no place to hide from the shelling and FPV drones.
But despite this, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky remains nervous about the trajectory of the war. This comes as U.S. President Donald Trump is rushing the peace talks with Russia. Just yesterday, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio met with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov in Saudi Arabia's capital, Riyadh. The American and Russian diplomats discussed bilateral tensions, the war in Ukraine, and a meeting between Trump and Putin.
Today is the first step of a long and difficult journey, but an important one. And President Trump is committed to bringing an end to this conflict, and as he said when he campaigned for president. And he wants it to end in a way that's fair. He wants it to end in a way that's sustainable and enduring, not that leads to another conflict in 2 to 3 years. That's not going to be easy to achieve.
However, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that he opposes any peace deal that does not include the participation of Ukraine. Zelensky expressed concerns about Trump's fast-paced approach to a peace deal. However, Trump shot back at Zelensky and blamed Ukraine for prolonging the war.
You can talk about anything, but no decision can be made without Ukraine on how to end the war in Ukraine. We were not invited to this meeting, the U.S.-Russia meeting in Saudi Arabia. It was a surprise for us, as well as for many.
And I'm very disappointed. I hear that, they're upset about not having a seat. Well, they've had a seat for 3 years, and a long time before that. This could have been settled very easily. Just a half-baked negotiator could have settled this years ago without the loss of much land, very little land, without the loss of any lives, and without the loss of cities that are just laying on their side.
As the United States moves ahead with the peace deal with Russia, Ukraine alleges that it is being sidelined in the talks, and how their fight against Russia to save Europe has gone in vain. For now, Ukrainian troops are celebrating the success against North Korean troops, but it remains to be seen just how fast Trump wants the war to end, and whether he is willing to cater to Zelensky's demands.
From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, shedding light on the world's top headlines, detailed analysis on the stories that matter the most to you. Catch it all on Spotlight at 6 p.m. India time and 12:30 GMT, only on Firstpost.
We're calling the show Vantage. We hope you like what we put together for you. Touted as the minimum defense from that video. India's neighbors were the first to send the special edition of Vantage live from the White House throughout this week. Yes, Hindu Mandir in we're on our way to Tel Aviv. Measure, but it's also the perfect way to drive.
I don't think that
Prime Minister of Bhutan, Sherin Tagwe. Welcome to
60% of the world's
office. Prime Minister Modi did the iron.
We were actually
How are you doing? How do you like? It's been 1 year since that meeting. Iron bars separate you from the outside. Out the vote efforts. Trump had, it says, and at $4.3 trillion. 300 billion by 2030. That's what we need to tackle climate change.